Hi, Facebook Live. It's early in the morning on a Saturday morning. I'm sitting here at Publix. Uh, Joe is doing the grocery shopping. Of course, I'm sitting out here. Um, it's a sunny day. It's a nice day. I think our 10-day forecast out here is supposed to be in the 90s every day, with the later part of the week being in the mid to high 90s, and I don't like that. I hope we don't have any bad thunderstorms. There was a lot of storms around us yesterday, and I know in Pearisburg, Virginia, I have some family in Virginia, it ripped the roof. They had a tornado come through, ripped the roof off of a motel. Van Denton showed some weather pictures of what happened, I think, in Thomasville here, and some other counties of trees down across the power lines, and it was just a mess. So the alarm kept going off on TV last night that we had severe thunderstorms. And I was here. Mr. Furley don't like that alarm when it goes off on TV anyway, so he wanted to stay snuggled up to me. I could hear the thunder coming, and it kept getting constant and constant. And I can't remember the last time we had a bad thunderstorm here. And I'm scared of them, but I kept hearing that thunder. But it stayed in the distance, so whoever was getting it good. But we got rain, and I didn't see any lightning. That's not to say there wasn't any, but I had my blinds closed. So the storm missed us again last night, thank goodness. But I know we've got to get one sometime. I can't continue to be lucky forever. Now, while Joe's grocery shopping, let me see if I can get something done with this phone instead of having to... there it is. You like my earrings? These are my invention. I've made myself a lot of jewelry now. I've got tons of it that I was going to sell at the craft fair, but that won't be happening this year, so that's put away. But I'm still continuing to add to it, and of course I make for me too. But anyway, schools. I know a lot of you have children in schools or grandchildren in schools. And are you afraid to send your child back to school this year? That would be scary. That'd be a scary thought because, I would be too scared to send mine back. It's unfortunate because there's a lot of parents that can't afford to homeschool. Both parents have to work, or the single mothers, the single dads. They have to provide, depend on daycare. It's a sad situation, but the president wants kids back in school. This is what he said. I'm not making it up, and I didn't see this in a meme on Facebook. I Google everything. I fact check everything. He wants schools opened, all schools. He says if they don't open at the regular time, that he will take away federal funding from the schools that don't open. And he wants the CDC to take away their restrictions on schools opening so that they can open. In other words, he wants school back to normal, kids in the classroom like nothing ever happened. But you got to stop and think, if he shut down the entire country just a few months ago because of the pandemic, and now the pandemic is worse, why does he want to open it back up and pretend like nothing's happened? He's not being realistic. And if you go along with him, you're not being very realistic either. By the way, CDC says they will not relax their rules. So, when Pence gave a speech the other day, because he's the head of the coronavirus task force, he gave a speech the other day, and I watched that, and he had the nerve to say that Florida and Arizona have flattened their curve. Now, that's not true. That's simply not true. They're hot spots, and they're getting worse. I have a brother that lives in Florida, and it's just exhausting him. He works at a grocery store there. He works at a Publix, as a matter of fact. And it's crazy in those areas. They want to open the theme park. Well, they are opening the theme parks there. They ask that you, I'm not sure what theme park it was at, but I was reading about this the other day. It may even be in another country somewhere, where they ask that you scream in your heart on the roller coasters. But don't scream out loud because that spreads germs. Now, who's not going to scream on a roller coaster? I mean, can you imagine riding a roller coaster completely silent? Doesn't make sense. Thank goodness things around here in Greensboro are... We've got a pretty good governor, and I know a lot of people don't agree. A lot of people say, well, things need to open back up. But the things that you want to open up are like the nail salons, the hair salons, the skating rinks, the swimming pools. And what's that sound like? You want all those for you, so you can get your nail and hair done, so you can go swimming, so you can go to the skating rink, so you can go to the movies. What about the employees that have to run these things? They're scared. I mean, they'll be working it, and they'll have to wear a mask, and then they're going to have all these customers in without a mask. That makes no sense. If masks are mandatory, then they should be mandatory for everybody. Everybody. This is mine, and I can raise it up if I need to, but I shouldn't need to. I wear it when I go out in public in case I need it for any reason. Such as, what if and I don't want to jinx it, what if I break down and have to be towed, and then I'm going to have to get an Uber home. So I'm going to need a mask. Uber drivers wear a mask. And I say this because my check engine light is on, and I don't know why. And I'm doing inspection, and so I got to figure out what's going on, and it's always something. But it could be worse. I could be down there where my brother's at, going through all that hell in Florida. So, anyway, the water parks and stuff here, and I don't think a lot of the swimming pools are opening. I don't think they're opening this year. Homecoming, which is scheduled, I think, for September, October, which is a week-long event here in Greensboro, is not happening this year. I think they said that they were going to do it online. Now, how that works, I don't know, but they won't be doing it here. There was 2 nightclubs here in Greensboro that opened up, I think last weekend or weekend before last, against the rules. They opened up. They had crowds of people come in, and somebody reported it, and yes, they were told to close, and they did so. And in an interview, they agreed that was the right thing to do because they didn't realize so many people was going to come in like they did. Rick Rose, that's his name, Rick Rose. I think he's big on TikTok, and you can go to his Facebook also. Recently died of coronavirus. I went onto his Facebook because somebody was talking about him. You know, he thought the coronavirus was a hoax, and I went onto his Facebook, and he posted up until just a few weeks ago, he posted all kinds of memes, and he posted this one meme that says, something about, let me make this clear, I will not be buying a fucking mask, because I've gotten this far without it, and I'm not buying into all this hype. And now he's dead. And he died of coronavirus. A few days after he made that meme, he was talking about how he was diagnosed with COVID. He had been to a large gathering and admitted he went there and nobody wore face masks. He made another comment just a couple of short days after that, talking about he was so short of breath just sitting there, and he can't wait to feel better again. And then he died. And now a lot of people, since they can't fight the fact that COVID is out there, are saying, well, they're exaggerating the deaths because if you die from anything, they're going to call it a COVID death. Well, more than likely, COVID brought that on. See, now, my husband's death, on his death certificate, is listed as a heart attack. Which, he did have a heart attack. But his cancer had also returned. And for several days, well, for a couple of months, he had been going downhill. And for the last 2 days, he was bedridden. He was due to see a specialist on Tuesday, and he died on Monday. But that's neither here nor there. His death certificate still says he died of a heart attack, but his heart attack was brought on by his cancer. So, I think his death certificate should have said cancer, but I wasn't going to fight him on it. You know, it's a piece of paper. So, but people that are having heart attacks, now, let's say that I had COVID, and I go to the hospital, and I've had 4 heart attacks in the last 10 years, and let's say I have another heart attack and I die. They're going to list my death as COVID because I had COVID. And more than likely, it's going to be because COVID brought that heart attack on. And even if it didn't, it would have killed me because 4 heart attacks and I have lung issues. I'm not going to make it if I get COVID. I know I'm not. That's why I'm very, very, very careful. This is as far as I go. To the grocery store parking lot. Once a week. Take my dog outside. Sometimes he don't even want to stay outside because it's so hot. And we start out the door and he'll go to crying and fighting and want to come back in. And so we play ball in the house. Luckily, I have a very large room. And, you know, I do miss going inside the stores. I miss going to Walmart. You know what I miss? It's not that I miss going in anywhere so much. I miss not being able to just hop in the van and go when I want. That's what I miss. But I know it's not going to happen this year. It's not going to happen until there's a vaccine. And I won't be one of the first to take the vaccine because I want to see what it's going to do. With all my health issues, I don't need to hop in there and take a vaccine if it's going to have all these strange side effects. It's going to send me into a tizzy and kill me. After I've stayed indoors long enough to prevent that from happening. But, yeah, I haven't seen the inside of any place since March. My van here, I filled it up the last of March or the first week of April. I filled my van up, and I still have a little under half a tank. Yep. That shows you I don't go anywhere. When I say I don't go anywhere, I don't go anywhere. I stay home. I make jewelry. And I love doing that. So, anyway, so what do you think about schools? Do you think that they should open the regular way? Would you be afraid to send your child? Oh, this is another thing. One idea that they had was to let the children who wanted to go to school or had to go to school go. The children who could learn over the internet to learn from home. That way, they could social distance more at school. Things would be a lot easier that way. But the president does not want that. He says no to that. He wants all children in school. That doesn't make sense. Why not let the people who can learn from home learn from home? Why not? that's just being selfish. And somebody said on The View the other day, and I know y'all don't like The View, but I like The View. They said the other day, would he make Barron go to public school? Would he send Barron out the door and put him on a school bus and send him to public school? Now, we all know the answer to that. I don't need to say anything else. Anyway, leave your comments below about what you think about sending your child to school, or if you have grandchildren, what you think about that. Do you fear for them? What's it like in the state that you're at? Do you know anybody that's had COVID? I think that's what a lot of people think. Well, I don't know anybody that's had COVID, so it's not that bad. I actually know 2 people. One lady I used to work with, she's a nurse, and she has recovered. But it was rough for her. And the other one is a friend of my kids. They all used to work together. And last I heard, he was in quarantine at home, but he had already been diagnosed. So, don't know, how that turned out. I'm assuming he's okay. I need to go on his Facebook page and see, because we're Facebook friends, and I really haven't seen him on there lately, come to think of it. But anyway, so tell me what your thoughts are on school. And you don't have to tell me what your thoughts are on COVID, because most of you already know. And so, anyway, I see Joe coming out of the store, so I'm going to get out of here and get home for another week. All right. See you later. Bye-bye.